When we think of the rugged mountain men of the 18th and 19th centuries, most of us imagine bearded trappers trekking through snow, chasing game, or navigating rivers. But the truth is, one of the most important skills these men had to master wasn't hunting or trapping, it was survival. And when deadly blizzards swept across the Rockies, survival meant one thing above all: building a shelter strong enough to keep you alive. These men didn't have modern gear, synthetic tents, or lightweight sleeping bags. They relied only on what they carried on their backs, their knowledge of the land, and the materials around them. Let's explore how mountain men built shelters to outlast the fiercest storms nature could throw at them. Blizzards in the Rockies could come suddenly, dropping feet of snow and bringing temperatures that could kill a man within hours. Mountain men often traveled alone or in small groups, which meant there was no backup if things went wrong. If you didn't build a shelter, you didn't survive. It was that simple. One of the fastest and most reliable shelters was the snow cave. It may sound strange, using snow to survive a snowstorm, but mountain men knew that snow, when compacted, could insulate better than many materials. To build one, they would find a deep drift and dig inward, creating a chamber with a raised sleeping platform. The entrance was dug slightly lower so cold air would settle at the bottom, keeping the sleeping area warmer. Inside, temperatures could hover around freezing, far warmer than the brutal winds outside. With a small fire at the entrance or body heat alone, this shelter often meant the difference between life and death. If there wasn't enough snow, the lean-to became a lifesaver. Mountain men would use fallen branches, logs, or even their own pack animals' hides. By propping poles against a rock face or tree and layering branches, bark, and evergreen boughs, they created a windbreak that blocked icy gusts. They often built a fire in front of the lean-to, reflecting heat back into the shelter. This method worked best in wooded areas, where there was enough material to cut quickly. It wasn't warm by modern standards, but combined with furs or blankets, it was enough to keep a man alive. When mountain men expected to be stuck for more than a night, they sometimes built more permanent shelters, log or brush cabins. Using axes, they felled small trees, stacking them into crude walls and filling gaps with mud, grass, or snow. Roofs were covered with bark, hides, or pine boughs. These cabins weren't comfortable, but they were sturdy. With a stone fireplace or even a small fire pit inside, they offered a refuge from storms that could last days. In fact, many trappers built these cabins near rivers or streams, returning to them each season like base camps. Nature sometimes provided the best protection. Mountain men often sought out caves, overhangs, or rocky alcoves to wait out a blizzard. They could block the entrance with brush, logs, or hides to trap warmth inside. The key was finding a location quickly, since exposure could kill within an hour in extreme cold. Beyond building the shelter itself, mountain men had a set of survival tricks. Insulation: they lined the floor with pine boughs, animal hides, or grass to avoid direct contact with snow or frozen ground. Ventilation: even in snow caves, they poked small air holes to prevent suffocation. Layering: furs, wool, and buckskin clothes were layered to trap heat. Firecraft: knowing how to start a fire with wet wood or flint was often as important as the shelter itself. Every shelter was about efficiency, using as little energy as possible, because in the cold, wasted energy could mean death. Ultimately, these men survived because of mindset as much as skill. They were resourceful, adaptable, and unafraid to use their environment in creative ways. What we might see as a pile of snow or fallen branches, they saw as tools for survival. Their shelters weren't just protection from storms, they were symbols of self-reliance, toughness, and an unshakable will to live. So, next time you see a winter storm rolling across the mountains, imagine yourself in the boots of a mountain man. No GPS, no insulated gear, no phone to call for help. Just your hands, your axe, and your knowledge of the wilderness. The shelters they built weren't pretty, but they worked. And in the world of the mountain men, survival wasn't about comfort, it was about enduring until the storm passed.